One of the more infamous archetypes in Vrains is drones. Drones is a really interesting archetype. Some consider it decent, while others really freaking bad. But in today's video, we'll be soaring our way through not every drone card, because that would take forever, but instead some of the more relevant cards in the archetype, and we'll find out what the potential of drones is in Yu-Gi-Oh! Before we get into this, huge shout out to JCD for letting me guest upload. With that, guys, let's get right into this. So what is the drones archetype and what is it revolves around? Well, technically the drones archetype is classified as revolving around attacking directly and outputting a lot of damage. But honestly, once we look through all of the good cards in the archetype, you're gonna find out that they don't really have that OTK ability that some other decks have, like Appliancer, for example. Appliancer is a really good OTK strategy, but Battle Drones just isn't. So to start with the boss monster of the deck, we have Battle Drone General. This bad boy is a Link 3 machine effect monster with 2400 attack. It has arrows pointing left, right, and down. It requires 2+ drone monsters, and it has the following effects. Once per turn, you can target one drone monster in your graveyard, special summon it to your zone this card points to. Once per turn during your main phase 1, you can target one level 4 or lower drone monster you control with 1000 or less attack. It can attack directly this turn. If your drone monster inflicts battle damage to your opponent by a direct attack, you can tribute that monster, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack that monster had on the field. So I think the last effect with attacking directly seems strong at first glance, but then you have to acknowledge that there aren't really many high attack value monsters in the archetype, so it's more meh. Like, they're mainly around like 800, maybe 1600, stuff like that. And so if a monster attacks directly with 1600 attack, it's only going to deal 3200 after Battle Drone General's effect is used. So it's not really that practical comparatively to something like Danger Thunder Dragon, for example, which just summons a 3200 monster in the form of Hot Red. So I think the other big effect of this card is it can revive a monster. So it's honestly really strong to be able to revive any drone from your graveyard, because obviously more link spam is always really good, right? So not only that, but if there's any not hard once per turn effects, or if there are any cards that gain effects when special summoned from the grave, then this is going to be really good. And really the entire archetype just revolves around Battle Drone General. It does have the ability to make a monster attack directly, which is obviously really good in some circumstances, so definitely Battle Drone General is the centerpiece of the deck. However, that may be a good or a bad thing. We're about to find out. Battle Drone Sergeant is a Link 1 machine effect monster with 800 attack. It has a link arrow pointing down. It requires one drone monster, and it has the following effect. If your drone monster inflicts battle damage to your opponent by a direct attack, except Battle Drone Sergeant, you can activate this effect. This card can attack directly this turn, but if another monster attacks, this card cannot declare an attack for the rest of the turn. You can only special summon Battle Drone Sergeant once per turn. So as we can see, this is a Link 1, which is obviously strong. Its effect is only strong when we take into consideration the win condition being direct attacking, but again, we don't want that being our win condition, because with all the cards we have, it's just not strong enough. But I think the big thing to note is it is just a Link 1. It will enable cards like Drone XL, which we'll get to gain its effects without needing to have anything crazy. It floats into a drone monster rather than any other type of monster, which is important. So Battle Drone Sergeant is definitely a relevant card for the archetype. And that's really it for the Link monsters. I mean, honestly, the Link monsters aren't that strong in this deck. There are other ones, obviously, that I haven't mentioned, but I just don't want to make this video like an hour or even 20 minutes, so we're just not gonna go over them. Again, from my point of view, these are all the good drone cards. So Scud Drone. Scud Drone is a level 3 wind machine effect monster with 800 attack, 1100 defense, and the following effect. If you control a drone monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Scud Drone once per turn this way. If this card is special summoned from the graveyard by the effect of a drone monster, you can draw one card, also banish this card when it leaves the field. So like I was saying with Battle Drone General, the fact that it revives a drone from the grave could be really strong, and obviously it is in unison with Scud Drone. Scud Drone is not only an inherent special summon while you control any drone monster, but it will give you a +1 when it's revived from the grave by Battle Drone General. So honestly, this card's really strong, 100%. Definitely a mandatory 3 of in the deck, it just does way too much. I think another relevant thing to note about Scud Drone before we move on is the fact that it's a level 3. And you may think this is a Link deck, why does it being level 3 matter? Well, it's actually because of Fortress Drone Beehive, but we'll get to that in a second, but it's important to note that it has a high level because of Beehive's effect. Duplicate Drone is a level 1 wind machine effect monster with 0 attack, 0 defense, and the following effect. If you control Duplicate Drone, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can target one non-machine monster you control, place it face up in your spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. You can only use this effect of Duplicate Drone once per turn. You can target one monster card you control that is treated as a continuous spell. While it is in the spell and trap zone, the name, type, attribute, level, and attack and defense of this card become the same as that card's, but destroy this card when that card leaves the field. The main relevancy with this card is, first off, it's a machine dupe target, which is always strong. I don't know if you'd play this card specifically because of it's a machine dupe target, but we'll have to find out if it ever comes to the TCG. I mean, it can special summon itself if you control another duplicate drone, but is that really that good? It really only works with itself, so honestly, I don't see this card being that great, especially compared to Scud Drone and how much that card does. Alright, so Drone XL is going to be a bit weird because not all the stats are confirmed, but I'm going to make some assumptions here. So Drone XL is a level 4 wind machine effect monster with 400 attack, 2000 defense, and the following effect. If this card that was normal summoned this turn is sent to the graveyard as link material, you can special summon one drone token, and that's actually it for its effect. So the reason why, first off, I chose those stats specifically is because it's called Drone XL, so you'd assume it's a pretty big boyo, but besides that, its effect is actually really good in unison with the Link 1 Battle Drone Sergeant, just because it means this is 2 free bodies for drones, and that's always really good. Drone Carrier is a level 2 machine tuner effect monster with 800 attack, 1000 defense, and the following effect. When this card is special summoned by the effect of a drone monster, you can target one drone monster in your graveyard, special summon it. So as we can see, when this card is special summoned by the effect of a drone monster, meaning you can special summon it off a Battle Drone General, that means that you get another drone for free. This card is so much value, just like Scud Drone. While it isn't an inherent special summon, that doesn't matter, it still gains a lot of value, so definitely is super strong in the archetype. And it's a tuner, meaning you can access synchros. This archetype does have synchros in the deck, but it's really bad, so we're just not gonna go over it. Fortress Drone Beehive. Oh man, let's get into this. So it's a level 8 wind machine fusion effect monster with 0 attack, 3000 defense, and the following effect. If this card is fusion summoned, place drone counters on this card equal to the total level of the drone monsters used as this card's fusion material. You can remove any number of drone counters from this card, special summon an equal number of drone tokens, and it gains 1000 attack for each other drone monster you control. So as we can see, if you're using high level drones, then this card is very restrictive in what you can do with it and how you can get it onto the field, because there aren't really any good drone fusion cards. There is a drone fusion spell, but we don't have any way of accessing that, so probably not something relevant as of now. But Fortress Drone Beehive is definitely really strong just because it gets you so many free tokens. High level drones as fusion material equal more counters, and more counters equals more tokens, and more tokens enables more link spam. And honestly, depending on future releases for the archetype, again, if it ever comes out, it could get better and better with more drone monsters in the game. But I guess the big issue with it is that there is no good method of summoning it. Spiral Gear Drone. So we all know Spiral Gear Drone at this point. I don't think I need to read over its effects, but future drone support could lead to easier access for Spiral Gear Drone. Because remember, Spiral Gear Drone is a drone card, but it's also a spiral card. If we get a Zodiac Barrage-esque card for drones, that means that you get more copies of spirals in your spiral deck. And obviously Spiral Gear Drone is really strong in spirals because it stacks the top 3 cards, enabling your super agent to guarantee resolve. So Spiral Gear Drone helps the consistency of the deck, but it also helps the consistency of drones, so it'd be big for both decks if it got some sort of card like that. And regardless, whatever future support we get for drones means that you can use it with Spiral Gear Drone, making it even better. Lastly, I think I want to go over Capture Drone, because this card, while being a trap card, is really strong. It's a continuous trap with the following effect. If you control a drone monster, activate this card by targeting one link monster your opponent controls, negate the effects of that monster while it is on the field, also cannot be tributed or used as a link material. When that monster leaves the field, destroy this card. Your opponent's link monsters cannot attack. Once per turn during your main phase, you can special summon drone tokens up to the targeted monster's link rating. Okay, so what I'm reading is basically a lot of free advantage. Fogblade for a link monster while you control a drone is obviously really good. This is basically a Fogblade for the archetype, but obviously it can get power creeped because of it only being able to target link monsters. But in a link monster based format, this card is really strong. And it even gives you free advantage on your turn. Because you have to target a link monster, you are guaranteed to be getting free drone tokens if Capture Drone stays on the field. But it will most likely stay on the field because the monster can't be used as link material, meaning it will be hard to remove it from the field. Honestly, the free token generation is kind of unnecessary. Like, it already is a really good card, preventing the opponent from attacking with link monsters as well, but the fact that you can gain free tokens from it makes it just even better. So in the end, drones are pretty meh. They're really cool in theory and definitely have neat interactions, but without a solid and achievable win condition, and without any searchable cards, this archetype just kind of flops. But regardless, that was the potential of drones in Yu-Gi-Oh! Thanks for watching.